Hey guys, Richard here. Well, it's time to talk about this DAHON K1 and yeah, stick around for this one. Okay guys, in true fashion, I'm going to tell you the things that I like and the things that I don't like about this bike right here. Now first, I appreciate DAHON for reaching out to me and offering me an e-bike, or actually they offered me a regular bike, and I explained to them this is an e-bike channel, and they offered the DAHON K1 and I accepted it. Now, as we go through this review, there's a couple things I want you to be aware of, and that is this is a different style bike. I wasn't careful enough, and I didn't carefully look at the specs before I accepted it, and I should have, so that was my fault. But we can't compare this to a standard, fat tire bike that you normally would see on my channel. I mean, we got fat tire bikes of all kinds of makes and brands and different sizes, so forget all that. Get that out of your mind, because we need to talk about this bike because it's designed for a different market than traditionally what you find here on my channel. So let's, just want to point that out to you first. Now, DAHON is not a new company. So they've been around for a long time. They've been around for about 40 years, and they've been making regular size bikes. So they've been doing this for a while, and I'm assuming they've had a lot of success throughout the world. So they jumped into the e-bike market, and I have to say, this is not a very good e-bike for me. Now, it may be a great e-bike for a select few people out there that might be watching this, and I hope so, because again, it's not the style of riding that I like, and it's quite different, and we're going to talk about some of those differences right now. First of all, this is a folding e-bike, so not only does it fold up, the handlebars collapse and fold down, and it makes it really compact. Even the seat post goes way down low. So it makes this a really nice, small, compact bike. Plus, it's very lightweight, okay? We got a smaller motor, smaller battery. So it was specifically designed to be a lightweight bike, because there are people that need that, okay? There are people that want to be able to toss this in the trunk of their car, or they want to be able to carry it up a flight of stairs to their apartment, and they don't have a lot of space to store it. This is great for that, right? Okay, it's allows you to get small and compact. That's probably one of its best features. Lightweight, small, compact. Another feature that I really like is that it does have a torque sensor, okay? So we're not going to dismiss that. That's a better sensor than what you'd find on typical bikes of this caliber, which would be a cadence sensor. So this comes with a torque, which makes it nice. Now be aware that you don't have a throttle on this bike, okay? So this is a class 1, which there's nothing wrong with that. There are some places that's what's all that is allowed. And so they're designing a small compact bike with a class 1, or that is a class 1, to meet those needs. So now that you kind of understand the purpose and the reasoning behind this build, let's talk a little further about this build. Now, in keeping with the lightweight fashion, they put a smaller motor on here. That's a 250 watt motor, okay? Quite small, but because it has a torque sensor and no throttle, it requires you to pedal and to get where you're going, and it's just offering some assistance. So that's justified. I can understand that. Okay, if they had a throttle on this where it was designed for you to be able to just sit on it and go like you can other types of bikes, then I would say that motor is way too small. Now, the brakes on this. Oh, let's jump up to the battery. That's the second most important component. The battery, which is actually built in the seat post, which I think is kind of a unique design, is, honestly, I don't know. It's either an 8.9 or 9.5. It's written differently in two different places. On the battery it says 9.5. On the website I think it said 8.9 amp hours. Small battery. And most of you are going to say, oh, absolutely, that's not going to work. Well, again, we're not doing the same thing with that bike as we would a larger fat tire bike that maybe has a 20 amp hour battery, okay? So think about its purpose. This is made for just kind of cruising around your neighborhood, not going too far, cruising around the city, the city blocks, not venturing out too far. It's got a smaller battery, which allows it to be lightweight, which was the purpose and design of this bike, to be lightweight. So, not so bad. Plus, again, you don't have a throttle, you've got a torque sensor, So you're going to be putting effort into riding this bike, which is going to compensate for the fact that it's a smaller battery. I didn't do a range test. I'm not going to do a range test, so I don't know how far you can get on this battery. But I would assume that you could get at least 20 miles since you're putting effort into it. But I don't know. I didn't do that. And that's based on my body weight, based on my riding conditions here. Your body weight, your riding conditions will be completely different. So again, some of these components are kind of justified, understanding what they were trying to do with this bike, right? Okay, let's talk about some more things here. Because it's a lighter weight bike and it's not a big heavy e-bike, they opted to go with mechanical brakes. Okay, I understand that. We're not talking about an 80-pound bike. We're talking about a 43-pound bike here. We do have the folding stem, which I already mentioned, which makes it nice. We have integrated front headlight. We've got the quick release front tire, so you can easily take the tire off if you have a flat. And I will tell you, these are 20-inch by 1 3/4. Okay, so pretty small tire. Again, not good for any type of trails or anything, only the hard surface. While we're up here, I'll point out to you that these are rigid forks. Okay, so you don't have any front suspension. So yeah, you're limited to the hard surface, but let's be honest, a lot of cities, the streets, sidewalks, wherever you may be riding, they're not always in best of conditions. So just going on and off my driveway, the bump at the bottom, it takes a pretty good impact going on and off the driveway there. So yeah, just be aware of that. Let's move on back. They specifically wanted me to point out this new proprietary system, I guess. This is called the Deltec system. And what it is it's a cable that runs from here down to there. And so the whole purpose of that is to give strength to the bike. Because again, they made this a smaller frame, thinner frame to make it lightweight, but they needed it to have strength. Okay, so this bike is actually capable of hauling 300 pounds because of this cabling system right here. And that's a cable, so when you get ready to fold up the bike, this does fold with it. But when it's stretched out, it's got tension on both ends, and somehow with the engineering, it makes the frame stronger. So be aware of that. Let's talk about the seat over here real quick. So I really like the seat clamp because it's really nice and large and smooth to operate. So they've really got that going for it. The seat is okay, not terrible by any means. The integrated battery, like I said, that's a little different design. One thing I noted in my another video is that the seat post, or the battery, has a minimum and maximum written on it right here. And up here it says maximum, okay? So maximum tells me that would be your maximum height. That's how I would understand that, okay? But it's backwards, and I'm not sure what the thought process was here, because actually, way down here is what it says minimum. Let's close this up. But that minimum height, guys, is way above the steering wheel, and that is probably in the neighborhood of, let's check it. Yeah, that seat is 44 inches off the ground. Okay, so there's a little confusion there, and I'm not sure what the thought process was there. Yeah, just I don't quite get it. Maybe someone else does, and you can help me understand. So I keep it right there at the maximum, which I would say is probably more like, typically would be like the minimum or the maximum for most bikes, but I don't know what's going on here. I really don't. Okay, let's move on to the back here. One thing to note is all the wiring and stuff runs on the outside of the bike, so it's not integrated like you would find on maybe some other bikes. And moving back to the back here, you notice we don't have fenders and we don't have a rear rack, partly to make sure this bike is lightweight and easy to transport, I suppose. But because of that, when you get around over here, you don't have an integrated tail light. What you have is a reflector that is mounted right here onto the frame, instead of, maybe because the seat post is too thick to have it up here, so they have it mounted right here. But again, it's just a reflector, so not real good for riding at night. Let's see here. We don't have a chain guard, which is typical on e-bikes, so that's not a problem. It is a DAHON derailleur, so their brand, but it does have a Shimano cassette back here. And let's see, what else can we talk about? Yeah, so we'll talk about, I guess we can talk about the cockpit. We haven't really done that yet. So getting up here in the cockpit, we do have these rubbery grips. It's got the palm rest right here, which I like. And the brakes have been working very well. No problems with the brakes. The handlebar has a quick adjustment. You just pull the lever up and you can adjust these to whatever angle you want to have them in. The handlebars have these rubber pieces already here on it, so it helps keep everything in alignment. And you do have a twist gear selector over here, because this is a 7-speed and you can run through those gears. The display right here, it's a pretty basic display. I've seen it before. Not much fanfare here, just 2 buttons for your pass up and down. It says it has 5 pedal assist, but I'll tell you, because it's a torque sensor, I'm guessing the pass settings don't do anything for you. Okay, whether you're in 1 or you're in 5, it doesn't matter, because you don't have a throttle. You're just cruising along. Whatever effort you put into this is the effort you're going to get, out of the motor. So just be aware of that. And then over here is the twist gear selector, as I mentioned. It's been functioning fine. I haven't had any problems with it. I've been mostly riding around with the torque sensor, using that. I've been riding around and just keeping it in the 7th gear, and I found that it's comfortable to ride. Okay, so let's talk about a couple other things now. The bike, riding the bike, it performs pretty good. I can comfortably pedal up to about 20 miles an hour is what it says here. But in my testing, I discovered that the speedometer is way off. We're talking 4 to 5 miles per hour off. So I'm guessing I was really pedaling at about 15 miles an hour, but it was comfortable to pedal around. And because you don't have a throttle, you're putting forth effort constantly, which means you're going to get some exercise. And I enjoyed that aspect of it. So for that, it was going good. The whole gearing system, pedaling, was nice and smooth. So no problems with that at all either. So with all that information, taking all that in, I think it's a good bike for someone who is looking for a small compact bike that wants to put it in the trunk of their car or carry it up a flight of stairs, like I already mentioned, if it was at a different price point. I can tell you, in my opinion, based on its features and configuration, the bike is grossly overpriced. And some of the feedback I've already received from people who have seen it, looked at it, people who have already seen the other videos, they're all in agreement. The price point is way off the mark for, at least for the United States market. Markets overseas, someplace else, maybe it fits right in. But for the price point of $2,000, they are just way off the mark here. So here's what I'm thinking. When I first got the bike, and after I test rode it, and after I started getting comfortable with it, I said, maybe, again, not comparing it to what these bikes are capable of, okay? We're comparing it for what it was designed to be. Maybe a $750 bike. Maybe. Considering that you don't need a bigger motor when you have a torque sensor and you're cruising around at a slower speed. Considering that you don't necessarily need hydraulic brakes because it's a lightweight bike and you're not going real fast. Mechanical brakes are fine. You don't necessarily need a huge battery because you have a torque sensor. So, that all matches up perfectly fine. But they're still, when you compare it with just e-bikes in general, these are all small and basic components, and there is nothing here that is screaming at me a $2,000 bike. Not even close. So I did have just a little bit of trouble with it. The handlebar stem is loose. Can you see that? There's play there. And I like that this quickly unfolds. You can just slip that knob, flip that down. It unfolds nice and easy. And I'll show you what that looks like right here. But I tightened this up as far as it'll go. And I'm not going to try to tighten it any further than that. But there's a lot of play there. And I just couldn't get it to tighten up at all. So that was one problem I had. Initially I had problems with the seat wanting to collapse, but I finally got that tightened down enough so I don't have any concerns there. And let's see, I haven't really had any other problems with the bike. I mean, everything else has been performing just fine. You know, if I lived in an apartment, I would probably be happy with this bike had I found it on a 50% off sale or something. Hey guys, I almost forgot to record this one piece of critical information, and I want to highlight this too because I think it's important. And that is, when I received this, okay, the bike was not packaged very well in the box. In fact, there was only a couple of small foam blocks that was kind of keeping it from rubbing up against the box, and that was it. So packaging certainly didn't justify the high cost. But there's another thing that I discovered, and that is on the lid of the box, there was a clear statement that said, "Attention, before your first ride, you must have your bicycle thoroughly checked and adjusted by a professional bicycle technician. This final adjustment will activate your warranty and ensure that your bicycle is optimally adjusted for safety and performance. Carefully read the manual before riding." That you have to have this checked out by a professional. They need to tighten all the bolts, check it out, make sure everything is in good working order, or else they're not going to warranty the bike. Okay? I've never seen that before by any other manufacturer. Everyone offers you at least a 1 year, some offer 2 years or even 3-year warranties on their products. But when you're buying online, they don't tell you you have to take it to a bike shop and have it checked out to make sure everything is in good working order in order for the warranty to be in effect. So that's just another huge fail, huge turnoff. Just want you to be aware of that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. A decent bike for what it is, just not at the price point that they're selling it at. Not even close, in my opinion. So that's it. That's all I got to say. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Am I being too critical? Am I being too hard for what they have going on here? Because I don't have a big problem with what's going on here. My problem is what they're trying to sell it for. That's my problem. Okay. Tell me what you think down below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, because on this channel I give you honest reviews. Okay. I'm going to tell you the things I like and I don't like, and yeah, that's just how I roll. Okay, so that's it. So hey guys, I'll see you in the next video. Ride safe.